Okay, so we're going to start learning the flow form now. I'm going to teach a few movements every video, just for a few minutes. We want to learn these movements. To start with, we want to just learn the basic posture. So don't worry too much about how to go from one posture to the other, but we want to just be clear with the basic posture. Later on, we can start having a fluidity between the postures, but when you're first learning, you just want to get the basic postures into position. So we're going to start right at the start. First section of the 5 sections is 132 movements overall. In the first section there's 26, and for the very first posture, parallel stance, this is the first posture and the last posture are the only postures throughout the whole form where we have even weight distribution, okay, on both legs. Otherwise it's always going to be 100% essentially in one leg or the other leg. And in these postures we don't count it, we just call it an opening and closing posture. We don't count it as a number, as a part of the 132. They're considered opening and closing. Now before we start, as we go through the form, what I'm going to do is every now and again I will give you one of the paragraphs, or speak to you about one of the paragraphs of the San-Feng Tai Chi Classic. The San-Feng Tai Chi Classic is the original Tai Chi Classic. It's the first one that relates to all the Tai Chi. Okay, so it's very important for us to be aware of it, us to be aware of the classics, because this is our connection to the root of Tai Chi in some way. So I want to share the classic as we go through. Just now and then I'll say a paragraph. There's 17 sentences or 17 different paragraphs in the Chang-Feng Tai Chi Classics. And the very first one is, throughout all movements, the body should be light, agile, and most importantly, connected together. So throughout all movements, the body should be light, agile, and most importantly, connected together. I won't say too much about the classics. I'll share a little bit with it, but I don't want to push my understanding onto you. I'd rather that you know the classic, you remember the classic, and then you'll come up in your own ways as we go through the form. You'll start to understand it for yourself, and I feel this is more valuable in a way. Otherwise I could push my ideas too much onto you. This translation of the classics, there's many different translations. This is from Wiki Jin. Because Wiki Jin is a very, very good exponent of Tai Chi. He trained from a brilliant teacher. Jin's translation of the classics, I feel is, at least for me, I feel is very accurate. And these translations are what I want to be sharing with you. Okay? Well, let's get started anyway. So we're going to start from the parallel stance. Parallel stance. Now that means we're straight on the outside of our soles, not on the inside, but on the outside. So a lot of us will have the tendency, as we stand, to have our feet out like so, for our normal position. But here, we want to stand with the feet straight on the outside, and it should be shoulder width. Okay, basic shoulder width, not too big, not too little. Now if your hips are wider than your shoulders, then you'd be hip width. So it depends on your body structure, where and how big you'll be. What you have to be aware of is some of us, or a lot of us, have maybe our alignment of our hips are not so synchronized together. So one of our hip maybe turns out a little bit more. So one of our legs may turn out a little bit more. Be aware of it. You want to be aware of your foot position. Okay? As we stand in this position, The knees don't want to collapse in. Okay, we don't want to lose our structure there. They want to be open, so it feels like you're holding a ball in that position there. So they're a little bit springy, but you're relaxed into the ground with the feet, and you feel alive with the feet into the ground. Now the very first movement, the opening movement, we start down. Okay, so we soften the hips. The hip softening comes from the feet. So the feet let go, ankles let go, knees let go, hips let go. Okay, so the hips are nice and soft. When you stand in that position, you don't go like so. The coccyx doesn't come out. The coccyx will be tucked under, so it's straight down. So your body is straight, not leaning forward, not leaning back, not tilting to the left and the right. Now quite often when we first start this, we have a tendency to do that. So we lean back, we keep this in a way tucked under, but we hold on with the front of the hips. We don't want to be doing that. The front of the hips, or this area where the leg comes into the torso of the body, this line that runs down here, this is the quad. This is the inside of the hip joint. Now this area always wants to be nice and soft. When it's nice and soft, we'll have the connection from the body to the feet. Yeah, so that's always going to be nice and soft. And we're going to try to be as straight as possible. Now for the first movement, or not the first movement, but the opening movement, the hands are going to be down like so. So the thumbs and the index fingers are going to be touching the side of the thighs. Yeah, so it feels like you're sort of pushing something down, and notice how my elbows are slightly out. They don't want to be in. Okay, your body structure is nice and big, suspended from above. And all we're going to do is we're going to push the feet into the ground, so we feel that we're pushing the ground away. And as we do that, the body starts to rise up, and the arms start to rise up to the top position. Now the top position, hands are basically in line with the shoulders, height-wise, but they come in a little bit. Okay, so they're not locked straight out, joints are not locked. They're sort of round, and you can notice that my elbows are more pointing out than rather than down. Okay, slightly out like so. And then you let go, and the letting go comes from the base as well, comes from the feet. So you let go on the feet relax, legs relax, torso relax, arms relax as you draw down. Okay, and this is just a wave movement from the base through the body to the arms, and back down from the base through the body to the arms. We want to get the timing that when the legs arrive, the torso arrives, the base arrives, so everything arrives at the same time. Okay, it means you're doing a small movement in the legs, but a very big movement in the arms. So we have to learn how to synchronize that. Like the first classic step, throughout all the movements, the body must be light, agile, but most importantly connected together. So it means our legs must be synchronized with our arms. We are not just moving our arms, we're not just moving our legs, everything is synchronized, and it will come from the base. Now as I come up with the arms, you'll sort of be leading with the wrists. Okay, so the arms come up, the fingers let go, it feels like water is dripping off the fingers as you draw up, and notice how they come in a little bit, so they're around about a fist distance apart. Okay, and then when you relax down, the wrists stay at the same height, you let go from the feet, shoulders drop, elbows drop, hands are going over. Yeah, I feel like they're going over something, and once they go over, they start to seat, which it feels like they're slightly pushing down as they come down. Okay, into the slow position. Now as you come up, it feels like you're pushing down, so you're working like hydraulics. You push the ground away, that allows you to come back up. And then when you relax down, feel suspended from above, let the feet pull you down. So it feels like you're opening the spine, so the spine is somehow stretching. You don't crush your body down. It feels like the spine is stretching, elongating as you go down. The whole time with the coccyx staying tucked under, staying straight. straight down. For me, I like to think that the analogy I like to use is I like to feel that I'm standing on a boat, a big boat, and we're out in the sea and it's rough. Okay, and when the wave is pushing the boat up, this is this force coming from the deck of the boat, and it's coming through your body out into your arms. And then as the boat starts to drop down into the dip of the wave, we start to lead by the legs. The deck starts falling away, and we start drawing down from below. So the below is pulling you back down into position. This is what I like to feel with it. It gives me a synchronization and a nice smooth flow. Okay, and this is the opening movement. Quite simple movement, but there's a lot in it. It's not so easy to get it very accurate. And while we're doing this, I actually want to share the second Chang Tai Chi classic, the second sentence, and that's the chi must be stimulated and the shen gathered within. So before you start your practice, the shen, the chi, the energy wants to be stimulated. The shen, that's like the spirit. Okay, the translation could be the spirit, wants to be gathered within. So you're stimulating your energy. How do you stimulate your energy? Okay, the easiest thing is to think of one part of your body. Okay, when you think of that part of your body, you'll stimulate the energy because you're starting to lead with the yi, with the mind intention. Wherever your mind intention goes, the chi goes. Then the body will follow. So you think of one part of the body. Okay, and then when you think of that one part of the body, you can be stimulating the energy there. You don't have to do anything. You just think of that part of the body. Good places to think about. Like we did in the principle video earlier. Consciousness on the crown of the head, so you feel suspended from above, so you're connected to the heaven. The Yong Chen, underneath the feet, you're connected to the earth. Okay, so you're feeling these areas. The Dantian, the center of your body. This area wants to be full, alive. This is the storage center of your energy, of your chi. So this area you must be awake in this area. It must be alive. Okay? Our movements during the form will essentially come from the feet. The turning will come from the Yao Kwa, which is essentially the center, and the Kwa, the Dantian. So either of these positions are good to be focusing on before you start your movement. Then the shen to be gathered within. So you keep your awareness within yourself. Don't lose yourself thinking about what you're going to have after, what you must do. Just stay with yourself. Be aware. This is an awareness exercise, so you must bring the awareness within your body. Okay, enough talk. Now we're going to start doing the positions. Okay, so the first one, the opening movements. We come up, we relax down, we soften down. Then the first movement, we stay down, we're in the low position. We're going to step to the right. Okay, imagine there's a wall there, a straight wall. If there's 4 walls around us, we're going to step to the right wall with the right leg. As we step, we're going to hold the Tai Chi ball. So the right hand is going to be above the left hand, and all the weight is going to be in the right leg. Boom. Easy. Easy position. Okay, it's not too close, not too far out, and you're not holding with the shoulders. They're just relaxed. Okay. So we try that again. So coming up, relaxing down. 1. Okay. So facing straight to the sidewall. Now here you notice my weight is in this leg. The left leg is touching, but there's no weight in it. Okay? So essentially I have all the weight in this leg. And when I have the weight in this leg, I'm not up. And my leg is not straight. My leg is straight and I'm holding on in the Kwa area or the coccyx, I don't connect with the ground. I want to be connected with the ground, so I soften it. I open it, and I stay down. Okay, and like we said before, the hips are going to stay level the whole time. So when I move, I do not come up. I do not do this. Okay, stay soft, calm, relaxed. You don't have to step so big. You step where you feel comfortable so the body can stay straight. That's one. Okay, that's the first right ward off. Coming up, relaxing down. Now we're going to do two. One, facing side wall. Now we're going to turn back to the front wall. So we're going to step with the left leg. Left leg comes to the front. Left hand up, right hand down. This is the left ward off. Okay, left thumb basically in line with the chest. Arm is relaxed. Right hand down to the side, sort of pushing down. Not too narrow, shoulders are open, coccyx is tucked under, body straight. Weight's in this left leg now, so the right leg is free. To free your insubstantial leg, the leg where you're not holding the weight, feel that the knee is just pulling straight down. So it's relaxed straight down. Yeah? Straight into three. So coming up, relaxing down. One, right water. Two, left water. Three, with the right leg. Stepping with the right leg to the side wall again. To the right side wall, we step, right hand comes up. This time, we turn to the back corner. So if you can imagine a corner, the back and the right wall, right thumb will be in line with the nose, middle finger pointing to the wrist. Not touching, but just pointing toward it. And we're facing the back corner. Once again, weight in the right leg, left leg is free. But the turning has come from the yao kwa. So from the dantian and the kwa. So we turn from this area. And remember, in your turning, wherever your hips turn, or inside of your hips turn, the shoulders will follow. So if I do the third position facing you, I don't just turn my shoulders. If I turn my shoulders, you can see what happens in my clothes. See how they start to turn like so. Okay, there's a twist because my hips have not gone that way, but my shoulders have. So with this one, we want to turn with the hips. With the hips. And where the hips turn, that's where you'll face. That's where the shoulders will follow. Now you don't have to turn so far. Quite often we get this wrong because we turn too far. If you turn too far, it'll be a little bit more difficult. And remember, when you're moving with the hands, try not to hold on in the shoulders. Try not to hold on in the trapezius. It should feel the arms come out from the center of the back. Yeah, so it's coming from the center of the back as you move up the arms. So let's try again. So opening, relaxing down. One, two, three. Then let it go. Now let's try it with you facing me, so you can follow along if you want to, if this makes it easier for you. So we'll face the other way. You start down, you always start down. You open up. Relaxing down, body staying straight. Step with the right leg. One, two, and three. Right one. And we'll relax there. Now this is the first lesson. Try and remember these three postures. First thing you do is just try and get the right posture. Afterwards, later on, you'll start to learn how to have a fluid movement from one posture to the other. So even though this is called the flow form, we're working with fluidity, we want fluidity, it's not going to happen right at the start. Okay, we've just got to learn the postures. We've just got to learn the letters before we can get into the sentences, or before we can get into the words, before we can get into the sentences, before we can get into the paragraphs. So just start with the basic posture. Where you can get the flow is in your very first movement, the opening movement. Try and have a flow there from your base, body, and your arms. Okay? That's all for the first lesson.